two-part question. So the first part is, what are your thoughts on making improvements in the existing buildings? And then the second part is, and how do you propose we make these improvements?
Like somebody referred before, like Winona House, you know, it's constantly, you know, when you have the amount of use in our buildings, and realize that this building is 50 years plus. You know, this used to be the new high school. You know, this is 50 years plus. There are major things, you know, the roofs in all three buildings, and I know Mike is right now working on a plan of what they're going to do, what the expenses would be, to try to alleviate the plan of the problem, so that we don't have to do just little piecemeal things every year. And I think that's a good idea to do sometimes a major renovation instead of going, oh, we can tar this. You know, those of you that have been in this building, how many times have you had people up on the roof tarring parts of it? So they're looking at maybe doing something so it's a long-term plan. Makes it a little bit more expensive, but, you know, in the long run, maybe more cost-effective. In-ground heat source is something else we are going to have to look at because of the timeline. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since we put those into effect. It's just constant, it's ongoing. There is a section of the budget that is set aside for that, and hopefully those monies will cover what those projects are going to be. And I think Mike has done a nice job of looking ahead of what we need to have.
Well, I think the long-range plans for what the needs are going to be and try to do, like she said, just get in and get it done instead of piecemeal, because when you bring contractors in piecemeal, each time you do it, it's more expensive individually than you do on a major project. So, you know, the utilities, you know, the heat and electricity, you know, with the cost of fuel and so forth, there's new technology. We built, we put ground source heat in. There's different geothermal and heat panels and different things. You know, utilities is a big expense nowadays. So planning ahead for energy efficient buildings, insulation and so forth, windows, it should be a big part of that. But use what resources we have and then improve what you can and make the best of the time and the resources.
Well, if they've allocated money in the budget to make those improvements, then that would be money well spent, because those things are all playing to the fact of the safety of the staff and the children that are in the buildings. So you want them to be just like your home. You want a good roof on your home so it, you know, so it covers your head. So I would say that definitely those are improvements that need to be made.
Just echo a little bit, of course, what Mary said. You know, how do thoughts on making improvements in existing buildings? Well, it's like anything. We do what we can when we can. The bathrooms have been done in some of these other buildings, and which is a great plus. The long-range plan is what's helped us the most. I mean, Dr. Robinson's great with that. You know, we sit down and figure out what it's going to take. You know, the roofs really need repair, but we can't repair them all this year. It's, you know, just prioritize which one's the worst and go from there. And it seems like that's pretty much all there is, you know, when it comes to making the improvements. It's just prioritize and go down the list. And granted, you always have the what ifs or the hiccups that come along we fix instantly. But other than that, it's just kind of planning is all that amounts to, as much as we can anyway.